All right, we're going to look at another FA. This FA is NBT2B. Once again, NBT2B. And this says, I can explain patterns in the placement of the decimal point when a decimal is multiplied or divided by the power of 10. And this is very similar to whole numbers when we multiply or divide by the powers of 10, if you remember that from the first trimester. We're going to use the exponent to help us determine where we place the new decimal point. And whether it's multiplication or division, that'll tell us which way we're going to go in the number. And we talked about this a little bit. If you're not sure which way to go, remember the alphabet. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so on, all the way to M. M is on the right side. D is on the left side. Okay, so when you think of multiplication, you go right because the M is on the right-hand side. When you think of division, you go left with the decimal because D is on the left-hand side. So that's a little trick to kind of help you which way to go with the decimal if you forget. So let's look at the first problem here. We have 4 8/10 times 10 to the second. Well, if I have 4 8/10 and I want to move the decimal 2 place values, since I'm multiplying, I'm going to go to the right. I want to go 1, 2. That's my new decimal. You don't need that decimal again because we moved the decimal place values. I fill in here with my 0 place value holder, and 4 8/10 times 10 to the second is 480. Now I'm going to take 0.23 times 10 to the fourth. I have 0.23. Okay, so once again, the exponent is 4. I'm multiplying, so I'm going to move to the right, and I'm going to move 4 place values. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my new decimal point. I won't use that decimal again because remember, a number only has 1 decimal. My place value holders for zeros, I'm going to put those in. And so the answer here is 23 hundredths times 10 to the fourth is 2,300. Okay. Now where a little confusion comes in here when we do these problems is making sure that we get rid of that first decimal. We only have 1 decimal in a number. Okay. Next question. We have 58 now divided by 10 to the fourth. Divided by 10 to the fourth. So I know my exponent is 4, so I'm going to have to move my place value 4 places. My decimal, 4 place values. I have 58. Well, this gets a little confusing because 58, where's the decimal in 58? There's no decimal. And remember what we talked about in class, every number has a decimal. We just get lazy and we don't say it. Like if you're 10 years old, you don't go around telling people I'm 10 0/10 years old. You just say 10. You just say the whole number. So we get a little lazy here and we say 58. Okay, and the decimal is always at the end here, 58. We put the decimal there now. Okay, now I want to move it 4 place values. I'm doing division. Okay, so I'm going to go to my left now, 4 place values. 1, 2, 3, 4. My new decimal is there. I will not use the old decimal because every number just has 1 decimal. I put my place value zeros in there. And so my answer to this is and 58 10,000ths. So I have 0 and 58 10,000ths, or 0.0058. Lastly, we're going to do 3,572 and 56 hundredths divided by 10 to the third. So here's my 3,562. Oh, excuse me, it's 72. So let's erase that. 3,572 and 60. Geez, I am just messing this one up. And 56 hundredths. Now, I know I'm going to move my decimal 3 place values. It's division, so I know once again in the alphabet D comes first, so I'm going to my left. And I want to move it 3 place values. 3 camel humps, 1, 2, 3.
put my new decimal right there. I will not have that decimal anymore. So my answer is 3 and 57256, which is 3.57256, or we say that 3 and 57,256 100,000ths. Okay, and that is question number 1. That's just pure calculations. We're moving the decimal to the left or to the right, depending on whether it's multiplication or division, and the exponent tells us how many place values we move that. Once again, that's why our base 10 system is kind of easy. Let's go to question number 2. It says, explain how the operation and the exponents affect the placement of the decimal in the answer when multiplying or dividing with powers of 10. Well, that's really everything we just talked about in the first problem there. The exponent, okay, so let's say I have 10 to the 4, okay. Okay, so we're back to the exponent, and remember, the exponent tells us how many place values we move the decimal. So in this case, I will move it 4 place values. Depending on what the exponent, that only tells me how many place values I move the decimal. Now it gets a little challenging because now I have to look at, okay, do I move it to the right or to the left? Well, it depends on whether the operation is multiplication or division. Remember our little trick. Remember the alphabet, A, B, C, D, so on, all the way to M, N. Division, multiplication. Division is on the left side. Multiplication is on the right side. So when I divide, I move the decimal to the left. When I multiply, I move the decimal to the right. And that's what I need to remember. So once again, it says explain how the operation and the exponents affect the placement of the decimal in an answer when multiplying or dividing with powers of 10. Well, the exponent tells us how many place values we will move, and the operation, whether it's multiplication or division, will tell us which way we move those place values. If it's multiplication, my little trick tells me I move to the right, and if it's division, my little trick tells me I move to the left. Hopefully this will help you for the second common assessment. Thanks.